Seraph, are you okay? Evelyn's voice came from behind my bedroom door, laced with concern. It was past 9 in the evening, and she must have just returned from her club activities. I'm feeling much better, I said, opening the door and offering Evelyn a calm smile. Sleeping had indeed helped soothe my emotions, as if I had returned from hell to the world of the living. But it wasn't enough. I needed more ways to quickly replenish my energy and pull myself out of this state. By the way, my senior from the club gave me 2 invitations to the Eagle Club match. Let's go together, Evelyn said, patting my shoulder before pulling the invitations from her bag. It's a match between Kael and Daniel. Daniel is from another club in town and is pretty strong too. The Eagle Club had risen to prominence because of Kael. Every time he fought, crowds flocked to watch, especially the girls, who were particularly fanatical. Eventually, the club had to implement an invitation-only system. Only those with invitations could attend. A match with Kael. Suddenly, my sadness didn't feel as overwhelming. I thought back to last night, to the wild intimacy we had shared. His broad, muscular chest, the intense scent of his cologne, and his scorching body heat were all etched deeply into my mind. My heart began to race, and that strange ringing in my ears returned, though not as severe as when I had seen him earlier that day. Still, it left me uneasy. What was wrong with me? Was I really falling for Kael? But then I remembered his cold expression that afternoon and quickly reined in my thoughts. I shouldn't be thinking about Kael, especially not as someone I could develop feelings for. We were just a one-night thing. So, what harm was there in watching a match? I decided to relax. I needed to expose myself to new experiences to pull myself out of this sadness. Kael's matches were always in high demand, so I had no reason to refuse Evelyn. I looked at the black invitation in my hand and hugged her. Thank you, Evelyn. I really need this. The next evening, we arrived at the Eagle Club's arena. It was my first time there. Even when I was dating Lucian, I had never been. He had always said he was worried about my identity being exposed, afraid I couldn't handle the attention. Now, I realized that was just his way of manipulating me. Only a foolish girl would believe such sweet talk from a man. The arena wasn't large. It was circular, with seating for about 200 people surrounding a square ring enclosed by black ropes. The overhead lights shone directly on the ring, highlighting the fighters' movements. The place was buzzing with noise, and Evelyn and I struggled to find our seats in the farthest corner of the audience. As soon as we sat down, I felt someone's gaze on me. Following it, I saw Kael. His deep brown eyes were fixed on me. Kael was about to fight, so he wore only a loose black robe that revealed his muscular chest and the golden hair that covered it. He was like a walking hormone magnet, drawing the eyes of every girl in the room. But now his gaze was locked on me. My heart tightened as if someone had gripped it. Was he really looking at me? Could he recognize me? His gaze was so intense, making me feel like his prey. But that couldn't be. We were in the darkest, most crowded corner of the arena. From the ring, we must have looked like a sea of ants. If he could spot me, didn't that mean he was extraordinary? The ringing in my ears returned, and my heart raced again. This strange feeling was back. I stared at him, and he stared back, but soon, Kael was called away by his friends. Evelyn leaned closer. Seraph, was Kael just looking at us? Her sixth sense was eerily accurate, likely due to her psychic abilities. I quickly shook my head. No way. We're in the farthest corner. How could he see us? Even someone with the best eyesight couldn't pick me out from 200 people. Besides, I was so ordinary. I wore a blue shirt, black jeans, and black-framed glasses, a simple, plain outfit that stood in stark contrast to the other girls who had dressed up to watch Kael. Vivian, for example, wore a pink crop top, a miniskirt, and had her hair styled in loose waves. Her figure was stunning, with a well-endowed chest. The moment she entered, all the boys' eyes were on her. Her 3 friends were similarly dressed, exuding a fiery, bold style. Many whistled at Vivian and her friends, but she ignored them, walking straight to Kael. I saw Kael talking to her, and Vivian even tried to wrap her arm around his waist, but he pushed her away. Still, their closeness made my eyes sting. Just as I was about to look away, I felt Kael's gaze on me again. Our eyes met once more. My heart raced, and, even from this distance, I felt he was looking directly at me. But this time, his gaze lingered for only 2 seconds before he looked away. The match began. Kael removed his robe, revealing his chiseled upper body and black boxing shorts. His muscles were incredibly defined. His arms, chest, abdomen, and even his legs were powerful and solid. The golden hair on his chest shimmered under the lights, exuding a raw, masculine allure. He was like a mountain, his muscles radiating a primal, irresistible charm. It reminded me of last night's passion when his powerful body had pinned me down, completely conquering me. The thought made my body heat up. The girls around us screamed and cheered for him. The match started quickly. Kael was the Eagle Club's top fighter, and his opponent, Daniel, was the best from another club. I rarely watched boxing, only catching glimpses on TV. I had expected it to be brutal, but watching it live, I found it surprisingly captivating. Daniel was a massive, muscular man, his arms bulging like they carried boulders. His face was fierce, his eyes filled with murderous intent as he glared at Kael. My heart pounded, and my hands clenched into fists on my lap. When the referee signaled the start, Daniel struck first with a jab, but Kael didn't falter. He dodged, defended, and countered with precision and strength. While Daniel fought with raw speed and power, Kael remained calm and composed, methodically dismantling his opponent's attacks. Soon, my nervousness faded. Kael's confidence was overwhelming, as if the match were just a game to him and he was in complete control. I found myself inexplicably certain that Kael would win. His movements were fluid and agile, dodging Daniel's punches with ease. Despite his size, Kael was remarkably quick, his reflexes sharper than Daniel's. It was astonishing. I had assumed someone as muscular as Kael wouldn't be so nimble. But he defied expectations, his thick, muscular waist twisting with surprising flexibility. See that seraph? That's one of Kael's signature moves. It's not your typical bob and weave. He dodges attacks effortlessly, finds his opponent's rhythm, and then strikes with a knockout punch. Evelyn said excitedly. As if on cue, Kael landed a side punch, swiftly shifting his head to avoid Daniel's counter. He followed up with a powerful backhand. Each strike seemed effortless, yet it left Daniel staggering. The once arrogant giant was now on the defensive, retreating to the ropes. Kael didn't let up, delivering a rapid series of punches, each one landing precisely on target. By the end of the first round, Kael had secured a dominant 10-7 victory. The crowd erupted in cheers. Amateur matches usually had 5 rounds, each lasting 3 minutes, but since Kael and Daniel were the top fighters of their respective clubs, their match was extended to 10 rounds. After a 1-minute break, the second round began. Daniel was more cautious this time, throwing a quick jab before retreating into a defensive stance. Kael, however, changed his approach. Instead of waiting, he pressed forward aggressively. He used a combination of forward jabs and right hooks, forcing Daniel into a defensive position. Daniel tried to counter, but Kael dodged every attempt. It was clear to everyone that Kael was gaining momentum, while Daniel was losing his edge. Unsurprisingly, Kael won the second round. The next 2 rounds followed the same pattern. Despite Daniel's efforts, Kael continued to dominate. By the 5th round, Kael seemed to lose patience. He seized an opportunity, delivering a powerful hook to Daniel's jaw. Daniel collapsed to the ground. Just 16 seconds into the round, Kael had won by technical knockout. Daniel couldn't continue, and the victory belonged to Kael. The crowd rose to their feet, cheering wildly. Evelyn and I joined in, unable to contain our excitement. Kael was surrounded by his teammates, and Vivian was the first to rush over, throwing her arms around him. She pressed her voluptuous body against his, and Kael didn't push her away. Watching them, I felt a sharp pain in my chest, as if I couldn't breathe. Why did seeing them together hurt so much? At that moment, Kael looked up at me again. His eyes held a hint of joy, as if he wanted to share this victory with me. I felt a jolt, like an electric shock, and quickly turned away. In that instant, a wave of bitterness washed over me. But reason told me Kael couldn't have seen me. It must have been my imagination. Please download Novels Ago and search the code in the upper left corner to continue reading.